Wesley
was informing you.
He educated me on how to be more trans inclusive. And I promise we're not going to spend a ton of time on this. But
it is so fucking absurd.
So fucking funny. Tell the listeners what you told me.
So I found out earlier this week that there's a cancer trust in the UK who has stated that it is more trans inclusive if you use the word bonus hole to define a vagina that belongs to a biological woman.
Well, wait. So biological women are the
only ones with a bonus hole.
So what if you have a trans woman, a post-op trans woman, what do they call that?
I don't know.
That's not a bonus hole? It seems to me that would be the bonus hole.
This is like an extra minutes hole or something.
Extra minutes.
Like a penalty shot hole.
Lord. Jesus. Have you seen where...
Could you imagine like being a woman and going to your OB and she's like, so how's your bonus hole
How's your bonus hole been? I need you to put your feet in the stirrups. I need to have a look in your bonus hole. Patient's bonus hole is healthy. Supple and healthy bonus hole. It has bonus hole has that cadence of an insult.
Yeah. You fucking bonus hole.
You fucking bonus hole. That's the most degrading shit I've ever heard in my life.
And it's like you were saying, it's like, why is it that everything that they come up with is supposed to be trans inclusive is just like the most fucking degrading thing you could possibly say to someone?
Yeah. It's like some shit that like a dude from the 1950s would say about a woman because he's like insanely misogynistic. All these women walking around with their bonus holes. These birthing persons. Like, can you not just call me a woman, please? That's all I'm asking. We've been doing this. We've been doing this for hundreds of years. Why are we doing this? Have you ever seen when they fashion a new penis, they take skin from the forearm?
Yeah.
Have you seen the?
It looks like somebody that had burns and got a skin graft.
That's exactly what it looks like. Like their arm, all that meat is gone.
Yeah.
It's like it's fucking body horror.
Yeah, it's just like
shit,
Dr. Kevorkian.
Yeah, like some shit from a Saw movie.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, it's like when they do that too, I
apologize if you guys can hear the fireworks outside.
That thing doesn't work like a normal wiener. Like that thing is just taut all the time.
Is it? I thought it was flaccid all the time.
Well, I mean, if you're going to use it,
it's just a boner all the time.
If you're going to use it for sex, you can't be pushing a flaccid penis in there.
It's just kind of stuff it in there. Like sour straws.
This is you are having sex with somebody and it's slowly unraveling.
What if he held his nose and blew it and it shot out like a party blower? Beat. Happy birthday.
Oh god.
Oh my goodness.
But from what I've heard, it's that thing gets infected and
Well, of course it does. Because it's a lump of meat that you sewed onto your pelvis. Yeah. What did you think was going to happen?
It's and you can't use it to nut.
Yeah. So what comes out the end of it?
I guess puss.
Oh my God. That is fucking foul. That is a foul
Well, I mean,
image.
what else would come out then? I mean, I guess you could hook it up to a urethra and pee would come out of it, but...
Oh my God. Like, oh, I'm gonna blow my pus in your bonus hole. Like, what have we done to sex? It didn't used to be this complicated.
Ugh. It's like, I get that, like some people feel like they're in the wrong body.
Yeah.
I get it. But some of like the wild shit.
The way we're going about this is
Some of,
all wrong.
Some of like the wild shit that I've seen. Like there was like one. It was like a trans man, which would be a woman that became a man, and a trans woman, which is a man that then became a woman, had a baby. And
that's just a heterosexual relationship.
The trans man gave birth to the kid.
Yeah, because that was the one with the vagina, right?
Yeah, and then the trans woman was trying to breastfeed the baby and was crying because nothing was coming out. It's like, of course nothing's coming out.
You're a dude.
Like, what do you think's going to happen?
The doctors assured me this would work. Well, of course they did, because you paid them.
Yeah, because you paid them a bunch of fucking money.
You paid them a bunch of fucking money. They'll tell you anything you want to hear. Yeah, this pill will turn you into a dog. That'll be $500 a month.
$500, please.
All these people chopping their ding-dongs off, and doctors are just like, with their cash.
I don't... Like, do people... I don't... Number one, I don't fucking trust any profession that much at all. Like...
Well, I mean, there are some things that I would be willing to hear from a professional or an expert on the matter, and I would be willing to have my view changed on whatever it is. Because obviously these people have dedicated their lives to studying and learning these things. But there are some things like...
that are inalienable.
Or immutable, facts.
Yeah.
The things that, you can't question. No. Not that you can't question, but there's no reason to question because there is no question.
Right. It's like if you're born a man, you'll never have a womb.
Yeah.
It's not something that happens.
Yeah, I mean they can carve you up a vagina. They can do that.
Yeah.
But it's not a real vagina. We can all all agree to that, right?
I saw another one where this person was like, it was a trans woman. This is so hard to do. It was like a trans woman. Like, it's hard to keep up with
Yeah.
And it's like a TikTok video. And she's like, this person's like crying into the thing. Of course, all these people are very narcissistic.
Yes.
Yes, quite.
Yes, quite.
And
it's just a bunch of fucking look at me, look at me, yeah.
And so, they're like crying into the phone, and it's talking about how their vagina hurts because it doesn't self-lubricate.
Yeah.
Because it's not a vagina.
Yeah, it doesn't have the glands.
It's just like this.
It's just a wound.
It's just it's an inverted willy.
You are wounded, sir.
And apparently, he was like, there's hair growing out of it.
Oh, fuck. Oh. No. You got shag carpeting inside of that thing? Oh. Oh,
like, just...
Man. You know what?
And, like, that's not... And once again, I do believe that there are people out there that they literally do feel like they're in the wrong body.
Right,
and
that's... Yeah, gender dysphoria is a very real thing.
That's a very real thing. It's happened since probably the beginning of we've been humans.
I just don't think that sex changes are the answer to that.
No,
I don't. The answer to that issue.
I don't believe so either.
Because... Well,
you're doing irreversible damage to somebody that maybe in the future decides that they don't want to do that.
And that happens pretty often.
And if that's the case, there's no going back.
And the thing is, medicine is not far along enough for this to be an answer. If they could legitimately, like 100% turn you into the opposite sex.
Right.
Like with a fully functioning biology, all of that, then... by all means, go for it. Whatever.
No.
If you want to spend the money to do that, go ahead. But as it stands right now, this is a freak show.
Well, all it is it'd be almost like you have a car, and the car, you do a bunch of like external modifications to the car. You put new tires and rims on it. You put a new paint job on it, and you change out some of the interior. You redo some of the upholstery. Yeah. It's like, but you didn't touch the engine.
Yeah.
It's like it's still the same car.
Yeah.
Still got the same engine in it.
Just looks different.
The same chassis. Still got the same framing.
And then some of them go and pull the engine out and stick a dead weasel in there, and then wonder why it doesn't work. And why won't people call this a car? It's clearly a car.
I just feel bad. I feel bad for people that struggle with gender dysphoria, because I don't think that a lot of these like people who are clearly very narcissistic are helping their cause very much.
I don't think they're getting the right help. I think that they're being preyed upon by
an industry that's looking to make money.
The industry that's looking to make money.
Right.
I think that these people, if you are a biological male and you believe you're a biological woman or vice versa, then something is wrong. You're not supposed to feel that way. Biologically, you're supposed to accept what you are.
Right.
So clearly there's a crossed wire or hormonal imbalance or some kind of something going on. The answer to that is not to cut yourself up until you and trick yourself into believing that you finally reached, that whatever.
Enlightenment or whatever.
Yeah. Because then you're going to have this like half-cocked, like squishy penis thing sewed onto your hips, or you're going to have this inverted wiener.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be real.
Right.
And you're surrounding yourselves with people who are lying to you and telling you that it is real. And if those people actually cared about you, they wouldn't have let you do that.
No.
It's like, wait, if I went to a doctor and told the doctor, hey, I've always felt like I'm supposed to have 1,000 lips on my back. Just on the back, just haphazardly. And the doctor was like, yeah, well, we can totally sew all those lips onto your back.
Right.
No big deal. No doctor would ever do that.
No.
So why would they do this?
I mean, I just don't.
I think it's really wild too. I think they're victimized. I think they're victimized when this happens. Yeah. When it gets to the point that they had the surgery, maybe not even all the way to that point, but that's like the epitome of the victimization. You are a victim if this has happened to you. You've been lied to, and you've been pressured into doing this for money, for your money. That's it. It's the only reason. Right.
And it's kind of wild to me too that, especially with, like, I remember being a kid and how, especially like with the Democratic Party and like the left, how they were very like anti like pharmaceutical company, very anti like.
Well, that changed about 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like the people that I grew up knowing that were Democrats that were proclaimed like classic liberals at the time, like they were not with large corporations. That's not how that worked. And I mean, it's obvious that as a large corporation, your job is to make money.
Right, yeah.
It's like, so if you have to skew however it is that you need to in order for you to make money.
Or skirt the law.
Or, come up with something that you can do to somebody that was going to make you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure that all these companies that make hormone therapy, I'm sure that they're not complaining about it.
Oh, I'm sure they're not. No, they're making money hand over fist.
Oh, yeah. It's like I'm sure that, the companies that make the medical devices that they use to, chop dicks up and...
Like it's just one machine. They just like stick you in like waist deep in this thing. You just hear...
but I'm sure like they're not complaining either. They're making money hand over fist.
Yeah. If there's any one industry out there that is doing the most damage to humanity, it's probably pharmaceuticals.
Oh, yeah.
Not healthcare as a whole, just the drug portion of this.
Right. Because
there's so much of it that, there's so many drugs that people live on that you were never meant to live on these things.
Right.
It was meant to It was meant to help you get to a point where you didn't need them anymore. Like blood pressure medication, for instance. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
It wasn't like, hey, you have really high blood pressure. It's like, take this medicine and lose some weight.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess I can go back and eat this fucking quarter pounder with cheese and my large Diet Coke. like, no.
This is not a eat whatever you want pill. This is your blood pressure has gotten so bad, you need to make a change in your life pill. And the reason I'm saying this is because I myself am on 2 blood pressure medications. But I'm trying to lose weight. I'm coming down.
Well, the thing with losing weight is that you have to realize is like it took you a long time to put the weight on.
Yep.
It's like it's not going to come off all at one time. No. It's going to take a long time for the weight to come off if you do it the right way, and a lot of work.
I mean, if you go to the gym and bust your ass and diet and everything, you will probably burn about 2 pounds a week. I mean,
that's very generous.
And that's very generous.
Right. I think like a sustainable, like 4 pounds a month.
Yeah.
Like one pound a week.
That's
right.
totally doable.
And if like let's say that like you
can do that without exercising.
Right.
Diet is such a big part of it.
Right. Let's say that like if you weigh 250 pounds, it's like and you need to lose 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Like to put you in like an okay, acceptable range. Well, let's say you want to get down to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
If you lose 1 pound per week, it will take you less than a year to get down to that goal weight.
I think that, I think something that, I know me personally, what kind of trips me up with it is that I know I can do it.
Right.
And I have done it. Like my weight has fluctuated. Like there was that, one summer I got down to like 230 or something, and I was looking pretty good. Yeah. And then I was like, I did it. Time to quit. Just like,
I have reached my goal.
Yeah, just like immediately put on like 70 pounds. Like it was fucking nothing. But it's, I know that like, if I want to, I can. So I put it off.
Right.
I think that a lot of people that actually, not to align my weight issues with alcoholism, but a lot of people who are alcoholics and try to stop drinking, they have, and same with people smoking cigarettes, they have stopped before.
Right.
And they will stop for very prolonged periods,
right,
years even, and then pick it back up.
Right.
And then they know in their heads, like, I can do this.
I can put this down whenever I want.
I can quit whenever I want, because they actually can. You actually can quit whenever you want.
Right.
But that's the problem. You don't need to quit whenever you feel like it. You need to quit now, forever.
And be quit.
and be quit.
I think the main thing is like you need to find, if you're looking to lose weight, you need to find something that you actually enjoy doing. That way it's not such a struggle all the time. Like if you hate, like if there's something like you hate doing it.
Yeah.
Like
burpees.
Like if they were like, burpees are the only way that you can lose weight. I'm like, I'm going to weigh 1,000 pounds.
I'll fucking die right now. No thanks. No thank you.
But like I enjoy lifting weights. It's like, and you can definitely lose weight lifting weights.
Well, the more muscle you have on, the more calories you burn naturally.
Exactly, right. And also, too, you can lift weights faster. Yeah. It's like if you lift them faster, you can jack your heart rate up.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, that's essentially all cardio is like you're just raising your heart rate. Yeah. You keep your heart rate high for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I know there's people that'll go into the gym and just go balls to the fucking wall. I've never set foot in a gym before. Just go in there and just fucking do everything. And they're like, fuck this. I'm like, well, yeah, you went in there and you went in there like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger for the first time. It's like you got to ease into it.
Right.
Like nobody says you got to go in there and immediately pick up a 60-pound dumbbell and start curling the motherfucker.
Right. It's like you should probably start with the fives.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Start with the fives.
I guarantee you, if you've never been to a gym, if you go in there and you start with a 5, by the time you hit the 20th curl with that 5-pound dumbbell, you'll say, oh, fuck. Have a long way to go.
And guess what? It's like the most jacked dude in there, the most lean woman in there.
Yeah.
If you went in and asked them, hey, where did you start? They'd point right there at that 5-pound dumbbell.
Yeah, nobody ever just like jumped in the middle of it.
No.
Like woke up one day like kind of like this like half bodybuilder.
Yeah. They'll wake up looking like Johnny Bravo.
I might as well see this through. I think an exercise that people kind of don't really pay attention to is walking.
If you walk enough, you'll lose some weight.
Walking is a big thing. I mean, like it's a really underrated. It's a really underrated exercise, especially because, especially if you can walk somewhere outside on like a trail,
Right.
like where my office is. I have a trail near that goes around the lake. It's a great trail to walk.
It's very nice
on
over
lunch.
there.
It's very nice. Well, it's not nice right now because they're doing all that construction.
Oh, yeah.
And they've drained the lake, and so it's like this marsh.
Ugh.
But I mean, it's good for. I mean, walking is good for your. It's good for your blood pressure. It's good for your blood flow. It's good for your blood
It's easy
oxygen.
on your joints.
It's easy on your joints. It's good for your mental state as well. You get a little bit of dopamine going through your body. You get outside, get some fresh air. Go out,
listen to a podcast.
Yeah, stand and listen to this podcast. Get a little bit of sun on you. Soak up some of that vitamin D.
Go touch grass.
Literally.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is a big thing too.
Yes.
Like just you as a human, not as a man or a woman or a trans woman or trans man, whatever. It doesn't matter. As
a Homo sapien.
As a bipedal Homo sapien, you are supposed to have sun exposure. You're supposed to.
Right. You can't just stay locked in your room playing video games all the time. You got to go outside.
Yeah. There's a lot of little things I think that people miss out on, just day to day, especially just like I said, the sun's a big one. Vitamin D. A lot of people have huge vitamin deficiencies.
Right.
You hear from people all the time, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired." Get some B12 in you.
Right.
You just take a multivitamin before bed.
Right.
A lot of people have iron deficiencies and don't know it.
Right.
Magnesium. Magnesium's a huge one.
Eat some red meat.
Yeah.
And not the meat over there at McDonald's.
No, because that's not meat.
Yeah, go cook a steak and eat that.
That's like solidified hormone paste. It's something. Soylent Green. I don't know what the hell that is. Speaking of fast food, we're talking about all this like health advice. If you've ever taken a look at me, you should know that I don't really hold any weight there. But like I said, I've done it before. But Wesley and I both have ventured to Taco Bell
quite a few times
to have their volcano menu.
Yep.
What's your verdict on the volcano
just
menu?
As delicious as it
Right.
was.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good. I was like having flashbacks eating some volcano taco. Which, by the way, the volcano taco is so much better than the burrito. Like it's kind of not even close.
The burrito's good.
Yeah,
the burrito's
don't get me
good.
wrong, the burrito is not bad,
But the volcano taco is where it's at.
but the volcano taco is just mwah.
I tell you what I appreciate about the volcano taco. It's the same reason that I would get the Doritos tacos. It's because they put them each in that little cardboard sleeve, which keeps it from like melting to the paper.
Yeah, ugh.
Because if you get like a normal like Taco Bell taco, by the time unless you eat it at Taco Bell,
Right.
which who the fuck's eating at a Taco Bell?
No.
Like I don't want people to see me here. By the time you get your Taco Bell taco home, it's all like it's just
You go
wet.
to take it out, and it's like you go to pull it off, and the bottom stays along with all the shit on it.
Yeah. You kind of have to like finger it off the paper, like scoop it into your mouth, like I'm fucking surf. That's also like, that's why I like the burritos too, because you don't have to worry about that with a burrito.
Yeah,
Burrito's
that's true.
very self-contained.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be really annoying if you took the burrito out of the wrapper and like the bottom half of it ripped off.
Well, I have like gotten a burrito from there before, and like there's like some moisture on the wrapper, and then like you go to take the burrito off, and there's like that like first layer of skin from the burrito is like still like attached
like
to
epidermis.
It's still attached to the paper.
Yeah. You kind of feel cheated.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I paid for the whole burrito.
Yeah.
So someone's going to have to go in the trash.
Because I went up there and I got the combo. Because of course, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, just
And
makes
I guess
good fiscal sense.
Yeah, I guess it comes like a frozen Baja Blast thing or whatever, which I didn't order it. The first time I was like, give me a Sprite, and so they gave me the Sprite. Because I don't know what it is about Taco Bell, but their Dr. Pepper is just fucking off. It's like they put too much fucking syrup in it or something.
I don't get soda from fast food restaurants really. I like I used to only get sweet tea wherever I went. Get sweet tea. Now I only get bottled water.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't had. Well, I had a McDonald's Sprite like a long, long time ago. I got like this really weird craving for one. Yeah, just
McDonald's Sprite is
static
just
in a cup.
You ever like gone to get Sprite from somewhere and they ran out of the syrup?
Oh yeah, that happened all the time at the Mexican restaurant because you couldn't see.
Yeah,
like with the Coke, it's coming out brown, then all of a sudden it's stark white. You're like, oh, they're not gonna like that. Yeah. But with Sprite, you never knew.
Yeah,
yeah. Like you drank a battery.
But they had something up there. It was, I guess they have like a bunch of frozen drinks now.
Yeah.
I guess it's like a slushy, like an icy or something. I don't really know. But they had one. It was like a watermelon berry lemonade.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Sounds like it would be good.
Yeah. It might be a problem.
Oh. You live like 5 minutes away from a Taco Bell. It's like the Eye of Sauron. This is beckoning to you. I always, I don't know how long the Volcano menu will stick around. Hopefully enough people have like showed that they really enjoy it, that it will. Because it's been 10 years.
Has it?
Yeah, they discontinued it in 2013. And it came back.
See, it came out when I was at Auburn, and that was 2008. So it stuck around for 5 years before they took it away.
Yeah.
You know what else they had that was really good? Was the chicken flatbread.
Oh, yeah.
The chicken flatbread was really good, too. Listen, if anybody from Taco Bell is listening right now.
You think some Taco Bell CEO is listening to this shit?
Bring back the chicken flatbread, you piece of shit.
He's like, write that down. I liked the rolled tacos.
Oh, those
they
were
were like
too.
taquitos or whatever, and they get a little nacho dipping sauce in there, and you just fucking suck it down your fat gullet. Get all uncomfortable and drive home.
The best, I didn't have it when it came back around, but was the double down from KFC.
So I did get one when that came back.
I had it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was just as good as I thought it was going to be. Yeah. But it was one of those deals I had at one time, and I was like, I can't. I can't do this.
I can't do this twice.
Second time.
Tempting fate here.
Like, you imagine, like, you die, and, like, you go to heaven, and
God's like, really, dude? Twice?
He's like, you ate two of those?
You ate two of those fucking things? Ever heard of gluttony, buddy?
Yeah, he's got like an overhead shot of you stuffing this thing in your fucking face.
He's like, look, you can see the exact moment your heart stops. Yeah, I mean, I got one when they brought it back because I never got one the first time. And the only reason I got one was because I didn't get one the first time. And I was like, I feel like that's something I missed out on. Just because of the absurdity of it. I was like, I got to try it at least once. And, it's like you said, there's two fucking pieces of fried chicken with bacon and cheese in between it. Like, what could be better?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was good. It was exactly what they advertised. But I felt so low after eating it.
Like you just sucked dick. like go for a crack rock. Yeah. Like, imagine you're like in some back alley eating this fucking thing, and just like sobbing. A cop comes around the corner.
It's not mine, I swear. Freeze, dirtbag. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you don't want anybody to see you eat.
Right.
Like, whoever it was that had the chicken sandwich that's between two glazed donuts.
Yeah.
Or is that somewhere in Atlanta that does that? Is it the Vortex?
Is it the Vortex? No, the Vortex does the heart attack burger, which I think, is that what it was called? Or the triple bypass or something? Which it was 2 grilled cheeses, like, and then the hamburger in the middle. And then it was like all these,
one grilled cheese sandwich per half of bun.
Yeah, and then it was like this mound of tater tots covered in nacho cheese.
Oh my god!
I've had it. It was really good.
What's that place over in? There's a place in Las Vegas. Or they have a bunch of shit on their menu like that. It's like a novelty restaurant.
Yeah, that's a place out there, too. Like, if you're over 350 pounds, you eat for free.
Oh, my God.
But they sit you up in front of everybody.
Like on a pedestal?
Yeah.
Like a hydraulic lift?
And people will be like, that's me. They'll, like, go waddle up there. Display their degeneracy for everybody.
For all to see. Yeah. Well, it is Vegas. While we're still on the topic of like fast food and things, I remembered, there's been several instances in my life where I've eaten something and immediately regretted eating it just because of how it made me feel as a person.
No.
And one of my earliest memories of that happening was when I got my first paycheck from the jump place we used to work at.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know what I'm going to do with this fucking paycheck? I'm going to go get a party platter of chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. And I'm going to eat that motherfucker by myself.
At the time, it probably seemed like a really good idea.
It seemed like the best idea a 15-year-old could ever have.
It's like, even my genius scares me sometimes.
And I went and fucking got the thing. I took it home. I remember, like, you and Mom and Dad were out of town, so I'm guessing you guys were on, like, a track and field somewhere or another.
Probably.
So me and Aaron split it. It was, I remember specifically, it was 62 nuggets apiece.
Oof. That's a lot of chicken.
Yeah, it's like several chickens. And Aaron ate, like, I don't know, 12, and he was like, I'm not doing this. And he, like, put his in Tupperware and put them away.
Like, what are you, a pussy?
I was like, I'm going to power through this. And I think by, like, nugget 20, I stopped tasting it.
It was just texture.
It was just texture and resistance to my jaw. I remember when I finished it, like, I just sat there at the bar, and I'm, like, hot. I'm, like, sweaty. Sweat stains on my shirt. And chicken nugget driblets all over me.
Just grease everywhere.
I'm just fucking greasy. I was just like, I don't deserve anything I have in this life. I am a fucking monster.
Oh, man. You ever watch, they have like that, what is it? It's like on TLC. It's like My 600 Pound Life or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll show those people eating. And like, I remember this one lady. And she had like a hot plate. Like, they would like wheel the little cart over there and she'd cook her dinner on a hot plate.
Yeah?
And
like next to her bed or something?
Yeah, and she would like... Well, no, she wasn't even in a bed. She was like on the couch, like because like she couldn't get up to go anywhere to do anything.
Yeah,
I think she was like 627 pounds
Jeez
or something.
Louise.
And so she's just like constantly all day just cooking something on this hot plate. She's like, they'd come over and they'd put a little pot in with some grease and she'd fry something up and just eat it and just be eating all day.
Jeez Louise.
And
so you had like a boiling pot of grease next to her all day long.
Like, I understand, like I can still get up and walk around and make bad decisions for myself.
Yeah.
Like
I'm ambulatory. I can get to the bad decisions. I don't need them wheeled over to me.
But I would think that, like, if you get to that point, it's like, look, like, I'm not going to bring you a pot of grease to cook your food with.
Yeah.
Like, here's like a bowl of lettuce.
Yeah, eat that.
Eat it.
Like a bowl of lettuce, like a rabbit. Here's a carrot. Yeah, that show in particular, that one and what's the other one? Like My Big Fat Sister or something. What's it called? The one with the two sisters. One
it's like 1,000-pound sisters.
Yeah, that's right.
My big fat sister. Oh God!
One of them, the larger of the two, she has like a fucking bicep on her forehead.
Oh,
like
yeah.
She has so much fat on her body that it was like, wow, we have nowhere else to put this. It's going to your forehead. But like those people, them two, and then of course the people on my 600-pound life, whatever. I don't understand. I don't understand how you get there. How do you get to that point? Like, there's a lot that has to fall into place to reach that.
Right.
I mean, 600 pounds, that's 3 of me.
Right.
Actually, that's 750 pounds, whatever. That's still, there's people that fucking weigh that.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I ever got to the point where it was hard to move, like it was difficult to move at all.
At all, yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm taking a step back.
This is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to reassess. Well, I mean, it's kind of amazing too because there's so many shows about it now. It's like how could this possibly be this unspoken pandemic that we're experiencing?
Well, I mean, obesity, we've always known obesity's been a problem in America ever since
like the invention of fast food.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just fast food is just packed with calories, and it's not satiating.
It really started in the 60s was where it started to turn. And the reason for that is because the health officials back in the 60s told everybody...
It's like eat grain.
Well, they told everybody back then that what you want to avoid is fats of any kind. And that's not necessarily... Trans fats, yes.
No.
But there's natural fats and like fat that's in meat and fat that's in like...
avocado.
Yeah,
and,
fat that's in like cashews and stuff. Fish that your body needs.
Right.
So everybody just immediately... It was crazy. Everybody just was like, okay, no more fat at fucking all.
Yeah.
And so like all the restaurants and like all the people they were making food and everything were like, we got to replace the fat with something. Sugar.
Yeah. That'll do the trick.
So sugar went into everything.
Right.
I mean, sugar, not just like table sugar, whatever. Sucrose, glucose, fructose, all those, anything with a toast at the end.
Right.
It was just in everything. It's still in everything.
Right.
We've mentioned it several times on the show before, but sugar literally is in everything. The only thing it's not in is water.
Right.
That we know of.
No, yeah, that you know of.
But yeah, those, I just don't, like, how do you not see yourself? You're glued to the couch with a boiling pot of grease next to you. Like, take some inventory here, please.
Yeah, I mean, my main thing is like there's no way I could get to a point where like I couldn't wipe myself after I shit.
Oh, that's a big one.
Like
I'm not walking around with shit butt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna walk around with shit butt.
I'm not gonna sit on the couch with a shit butt.
Yeah,
and fry a chicken leg. That's never gonna be me. I won't let that happen. It's just like holding it with my fingertips, just in the fucking grease.
This big meaty paw. God, I guess maybe some people, like I know that there are some people like they have like trauma and stuff like they've experienced in their life, and like that's like a coping mechanism that they use to like try to.
That's a lot of coping.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you can't just like.
Yeah.
You'd be better off smoking crack.
Yeah, at least you'd be skinny.
Yeah. Like at least you'd be able to get up and get around.
You wouldn't have the teeth to eat anything. I remember that, being fat. It was well, I was going to say it wasn't as taboo. It's definitely not taboo to be fat these days.
No.
If anything...
It's heralded.
No. And it's taboo to want to not be fat.
Right. That's wild.
But back when we were kids, there was a lot of shows about, like, losing weight and things like that. Like, do you remember Biggest Loser? It was a reality TV show where you had these people... I remember specifically...
they were not doing it the right way.
Well, no. But I remember specifically the first ever episode that we watched of that because they advertised the hell out of it on TV.
Right.
They're like, make sure you tune in Tuesday night, big fat fuck, whatever it is, and they got all these people. They introduced them, whatever. Oh, my name's Brenda Lee. I'm from Mississippi, and I weigh 500 fucking pounds. Everybody has some kind of story like that.
Yeah.
and they got them all into like the McMansion, whatever it is.
McMansion.
And they corralled them into this room, and in the room was like this big buffet table with like fried chicken and like whole pigs and like a cheese fountain. And they were like, "Oh, we got to eat whatever we want. It's our last hurrah before we take off." And they just descended on this table. And were just shoving shit in their mouths. And they let them have at it for like 20 minutes. And then like all the walls fell down or something, or the trainer stepped out behind like a bookcase. I don't know. They're like, "What the fuck are you fat fucks doing?" It's just like, they're like, "This is why you're all fucked up." Which I think they're not wrong. That is why.
It's a really harsh way of going about it.
But it just started off that way.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically the female trainer. I forget what her name is.
Like Julian.
Is it Julian? That sounds
Julian
right.
Michaels?
Maybe.
Julian Michaels or something?
Julian Michaels. I think that's
Michaels?
it. Yeah. If we're wrong about that, write in and let us know. She was like a huge bitch. Like I remember, like she might have been playing it up a lot for the camera.
Yeah, I think she was hamming it up.
But it was like, me personally, and I know that a lot of other people as well, don't respond to that kind of.
Right.
You're going to scream in my face. I'm going home. Like that's how this is going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and get yelled at by Jane Fonda.
No.
Because I'm fat. Like I'm not going to be a part of this. But also, like, I see another show that really, even like when I was watching it, the premise of it kind of tripped me up was Extreme Makeover.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would get these people who were not conventionally attractive, and they would have like an intervention. Like they would get their family together.
It's like you're so fucking ugly.
they would ambush them in like Denny's and be like, we as a family have decided that you're too fat and fucking ugly for us to deal with. So we're sending you away to be carved up until you're beautiful. The fucking show was like that. And they would get these people, and then they would like do rhinoplasty and facelifts and everything, liposuction and all this stuff, and like do fucking lap band surgery on them. And then they would present them to the family again like it's fucking Pimp My Ride.
Everybody's like,
oh wow, I never knew I could love you this much. Like, even back then, the premise of that show was like, that is fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's fucked up. I couldn't go to my grandma. Like, Grandma, you're too fat and ugly, and we're gonna fix that with knives and stitches.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, the 90s were a wild time.
Yeah. It really was. All the reality TV shows that were like coming out and everything.
Yeah, I remember like one of the big ones was it Survivor?
Yeah.
Where it's like it's not really.
Is that still going on? I feel like Survivor's
still
still
a thing.
Is, yeah.
Like I remember when Survivor first came out, they like made it look like they're like 12 contestants on an island, and they're like they have to compete to survive.
Yeah.
And then like they get there and they're living in a fucking bungalow. Yeah. And it's like, and then they're like
in Bora Bora.
Yeah, and they're like doing like one or two like challenges a week.
Like you have to carry an egg on a spoon.
Yeah.
Past the sacred boulder.
It's like, the fuck is this?
Yeah. I thought this was like Convict Island.
Yeah.
Make them fight to the death like that Steve Austin movie.
Yeah. Instead, you got fucking Craig over here with a puka shell necklace that's given 3 other female contestants STD since he's been here.
It's the power of Frosted Tips in the 90s, baby. You can sling it to everybody. Get all the bonus holes you want. Well, speaking of conventionally attractive people, we should talk about our Super Cringe Thursday post from last week. We didn't post one this week. While we're on that subject, sorry for missing the upload last week, everybody. It was a holiday weekend, and we had
got away from us
things to do. So excuses, but we're here now.
Yep. All
that really hinges on now is whether or not I get this uploaded on time. So our Super Cringe Thursday post. I'm going to let you take this one because you're the one who exposed me to it.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't we use the cum nut?
The cum nut, yeah. That's what it was.
So, I don't really know how to explain this video. It's a gentleman.
He is not a gentleman.
this guy.
He's just a fucking bro.
Yeah, he's just some dude with like slick back hair.
Yeah,
he's in pretty good shape. I mean,
he's in really good shape.
Good shape.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, he's got like the button up like white T-shirt, but like I guess it's got on jeans or something. I don't know. And then like the button up T-shirt's like halfway down or whatever.
So you can see his pectoral muscles.
And then
his man cleavage.
Yeah, and there's like this like sultry music playing in the background, and then he's like making a donut. It's like, but he's like, he's got the dough, and he like flips the dough over and like smacks it. Like it's like an ass cheek.
He turns it into an ass. At some point, he molds the dough in such a way that it is an ass, and he sticks his fucking face in it, and he goes.
And then so like he continues to make this donut, and so he continues to make this donut, and the fucking wildest part is like he finally gets it made, and he's doing a cream filled donut.
Yeah.
And so he just shoots this cream into this donut, and like, of course, they
he like lets it like trail out of the donut.
And of course, like, there's too much of it in there, so it just spills out. Yeah,
out of the donut's bonus hole. The donut hole.
Yeah, this cream just comes out of this fucking donut. And then, like, at some point, he takes his fucking shirt off.
So I want to say about that part in particular. So this whole video is extremely sexually charged. And, and that's, you know, the point. That's why he made it like that. Like, every like, it's almost kind of, you know, kind of impressive, like how he manages to make two eggs look like an ass, and then like he's spreading the eggs' ass cheeks apart, and like everything he's doing has some kind of sexualness to it.
He might as well just like had his dick in like every frame.
Yeah, and just like crammed donuts onto it, and then took a donut hole and shoved it in his pee hole. But like but even though everything he was doing was very sexually charged and gross, the scene where he's just standing with his shirt off has nothing to do with making a donut. He's like, in case you didn't get it, I think I'm fucking sexy.
Yeah.
Look at me with my shirt off.
Yeah. I just fucked this donut.
Just imagine like somebody watching him make the donut. They're like, I don't want it anymore, man.
It's like the guy behind like the camera. Like,
with the boom mic. The boom mic. He's just like, dude, I'm so uncomfortable.
Imagine like they send it to post and they're like, oh,
somebody's got to edit this. Yeah, where's all the B-roll, the stuff that didn't make it?
He like takes the rolling pin and shoves it up his ass.
He's got to put a little flour on it first so it doesn't stick.
Oh, God.
A little bit of talcum powder.
Yeah. What a fucking weirdo.
It's one of the most... It's
uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable. It is one of the most narcissistic things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I don't want to come off as like, you know, I'm jealous or whatever. I'm like, we say, he's in good shape. He's a good-looking dude.
Attractive man.
But I feel like the cringiness of this far outweighed any kind of sexual appeal.
He definitely could have been like, he could have like worn the same shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
Been like, I'm still look like a very attractive guy.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna make a donut. Like, and then just make the fucking donut.
I was reading the comments and one of them said, this guy definitely wants to fuck himself. But the funny thing was, like, all the women in the comments were talking about how nasty it was. Like, oh, this is gross. Like, nobody was like, oh, my God, that's so hot. Everybody's like, ew. Because women don't think that way.
No.
Right? If it was some woman and she's, like, smacking her baps on a pizza or something, there'd be a bunch of dudes in the comments like, yeah, I wish I was that pizza. Oh. Women just aren't like that.
No.
And like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's ever. I wonder if he's ever tried that, like, on a female companion. Like, if you ever tried to, like, sexually make a bundt cake or something in front of...
Ugh.
It couldn't work.
No.
There's no way it would work.
No.
It was just like she's telling her friends at work, like, yeah, it was... We met up with him. He was in great shape. He was super cute. Like, we went back to his place and he made a fucking bundt cake all weird.
It's like... That's how stick his dick in a bowl of pudding.
What a wild sentence that is out of context. I saw him stick his dick in a bowl of pudding. Like it's something you bore witness to.
Oh, God. Like, even as, like, a guy, like, if a woman, like, if I was a single guy and some woman brought me back to her place.
Yeah.
And then, like, she's like, I'm going to make, like, some, like, I don't know, a fucking croissant or something.
I'm like, at first I'd be like, wow, you can make croissants? Like,
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah. And then, like, all of a sudden, she, like, puts her ass, like...
In the dough.
In the dough. I'm like, I don't know.
Never mind.
Yeah.
She's got, like, the whisk in her cooter, and she's like, I don't need a stand mixer.
She's
like, oh, and fall out. Hang on.
Like farts and flour goes
This might be the most immature conversation we've ever had on this fucking show.
Oh, God.
That reminds me of cake farts. Do you remember cake farts?
Unfortunately.
For those of you who are untoward, Cake Farts is this video. It's one of those old videos like, you know, like Lemon Party or Two Girls, One Cup, whatever, along that same vein. Not quite as upsetting as Two Girls, One Cup. But it's just this girl. It's like this 30-second long snippet of like a weird fucking porn video where this woman, there's like a chocolate cake from Publix or whatever sitting on the counter, and she's like, there's this woman there, and she's got like this Midwestern accent. She's like, you know what I like the most? Cake farts. And she like... She just sticks her bare ass in this cake and farts. It's just like,
it's just absurd.
It's so absurd.
It's so absurd. It's just like when somebody showed it to me, I was like, what am I looking at?
I thought I missed the point.
Yeah.
I was like,
They're like, no, that's the point.
Yeah,
like,
the point is watch this woman fart on a cake. Why?
Why? Why are we watching this? It's stuff like that makes me not miss the old internet.
Yeah, that stuff I could have done without, for sure. Especially Two Girls, One Cup. I think to this day...
That one's pretty bad.
That's one of the most vile things I've ever seen in my life.
Church of Fudge was really bad.
Oh, Lord have mercy, Church of Fudge.
That one was really bad,
Wowie.
Too. These are all blasts from the past.
If any of y'all go and look this stuff up, that's on you.
That's on you.
That's on you. Don't blame us.
Do this.
Don't blame us. We didn't show it to you. We just made you aware of it. One man, one jar.
Ugh. The BME Pain Olympics.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't miss that stuff.
No.
No.
It seems like that kind of nonsense was more readily available to the public back then.
Yeah, it wasn't behind like a bunch of links. Like a lot of this stuff had a whole website dedicated to
right
one thing.
open.
There it is. Like Meatspin, Meatspin was just a URL.
Yeah.
Like somebody would send it to you and you'd click it and then there's a big wiener flopping around in front of your face.
There was one that was really funny that they did with that, where it was like back in the day, they'd be like, this website can track your location based on your cell phone.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, no way. And then so they're like, yeah, go to this website. And so I go to the website, and I don't remember what it was called. It was like trackerphone.tv or something like that. And like this is like the beginning of the internet. So like no one knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then you like type in like your cell phone number and then like zooms in. And you're like, oh shit. That does kind of look like my neighborhood. And then all of a sudden this meat spin.
Yummy. You remember all the jump scare ones? Like the maze game? Or that one where it's like a video of like a car driving along.
Yeah,
like
that's one I remember.
Irish Hill or whatever. It scared the fuck out of me. I saw that on stupid videos. And I had to walk home in the dark from Brandon Justin's house after seeing that. It was hard as a 10-year-old. I mean, I remember like not knowing a goddamn thing about how like computers worked at that age too. And like, you know, we had mentioned before, like you could really fuck up a computer back then if you didn't know what you were doing. But Mom had like this old like Windows 95 computer.
It's like a compact PC.
Yeah.
For those of you who remember Compact.
Yeah. And she like, excuse me, she upgraded to a new one and gave me her old one. Mm-hmm. There's nothing on it. It had no internet capabilities.
No.
But I had it in my room, and all I had on it was Ski Freak and Myst.
No.
Like the floppy disk version of Myst. Which I'm pretty sure came in 3 discs, but we only had the one, so you couldn't even complete the game. But remember one night I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm going to go to boobs. And so I went and I clicked on Internet Explorer and I brought it up. I was too dumb to realize I didn't have an internet connection. Yeah. And I was like, I just went and I typed in boobs, like in the URL bar. I was like, something's got to happen. It'll know what I want. It'll know what I'm talking about. And I got this little like pop-up box that said, this computer has performed an illegal action.
You're like,
and I was like, and that's just language. That's just like programmer language, meaning that's like an error message is all that
but
is.
As a child.
As a kid, I was like, I'm going to fucking jail because I wanted to see boobs. And so like, I remember,
pull up, like, well, you little pervert.
We see his kind all the time, Mal. He wants to eat 2 fried chicken breasts with bacon in between them. I remember like yanking the cord out of the wall and like just hiding under the sheets. I was like, fuck.
Somebody's going to know.
Someone's going to find out. They're going to take me away.
Oh, man.
I just remember having like such a skewed sense of like what trouble meant as a kid. Like trouble was just like this broad term. Like when your parents were like, you're in trouble. That could have fucking meant anything.
Anything.
That could have meant I'm grounded for a year, I'm going to get my ass beat, or I'm just kind of in this state of trouble.
Yeah.
Like where I'm kind of upset with you at the moment.
I remember the worst about getting in trouble, specifically with Dad, was that he'd send you to your room, and then you'd wait there.
For a long time.
For a long time.
Mind games.
And then essentially what it was is he was giving himself enough time to calm down so that he didn't kill you.
Yeah.
That's essentially what that was. And then he would come back there, and then he would talk to you about what you did wrong.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, you know why you're in trouble, right? He's like, and then he would like make you tell him why it is that you're in trouble. And he would stay there as long as necessary in order for you to say why you were in trouble.
To
understand. And then he'd get up. I remember he'd slap both of his knees and he'd stand up and he'd take a step forward. And then you think, oh, that's it. Thank God.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just get grounded this time. And you go, all right.
Yeah.
And you'd see that belt come off.
Whip the belt off in one move.
Yeah. And then you'd get your ass beat. And then once he was done, he'd be like, and you're grounded for a week.
Fuck.
It was a whole process.
I remember one time Mom tried the I'm disappointed in you route rather than, she said, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed with me all the time.
You better get used to that, sweetie. I mean, now that I'm older, the weight of that would be much more. I would much rather, like, now as an adult, I'd rather my mom be mad at me than disappointed in me. It was like, you know, I get it now. As a kid, I was like, oh, thank God, I could still play my Dreamcast.
Right. I'm not going to get my ass beat.
There's so many things from our childhood that I remember, me and you always having to do the dishes, and it never failed. You would say, I have to go poop, and you would just go away. You would disappear.
I'm leaving.
You could have just said that. You could have just turned to me and said, I'm leaving. And it went away.
You know, the funny thing is now is that, I'm so anal retentive about the dishes, I can't let them sit there. So, I have to clean them.
Yeah.
Especially, when we lived in Jacksonville, we had, that really small shack house.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't clean the dishes, there wasn't enough room to do anything.
Yeah.
You had to clean.
You had no counter space.
You had no counter space. You had to clean, you had to wash the dish, dry the dish, put it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a dishwasher, and the sink was half as big as this fucking table.
Yeah.
And I remember, that was, from then on, I can't, if I'm going to cook, there can be no dishes in the sink.
Yeah. I'm really bad about doing the dishes after I'm done cooking and eating.
No.
I will usually leave them until the next time. And when it's time to cook, I have all these dishes I have to clean first.
Right.
So I'll clean all the dishes and then cook and make. And when I cook, I make a bazillion dishes. I use 5 pots and 10 baking sheets.
Yeah. And you're turning fuck.
I'm how did this happen? I made soup. Did we ever tell the story? And if you don't want to tell the story, that's totally fine. I'll cut it. But about the time I helped you carry your shit down the stairs.
No, I don't think we've told that story.
I don't even really remember what I was doing or where I was when you approached me. Or why this was the solution you had come up with. But I remember you were like, Gary, I took a huge diarrhea dump in the toilet upstairs and it won't flush.
No, it was the one right next to the steps.
No, that's where we took it.
Oh, is that where we took it? Oh, okay. I don't remember.
So you were but I got this idea. You're we can take our Easter buckets and bail it out of this toilet and carry it downstairs to the other toilet.
I don't know why the fuck you agreed to do this.
I don't know why I did either.
I'd have been no. I'm not fucking doing that. Oh, God.
I don't know why I fucking helped you do that. Because, I hate poop. I don't know. I guess I was my brother needs me. I gotta be there for him.
And I don't remember exactly. I can't remember if I looked in the back of the toilet and it wouldn't, because that toilet up there was not a good toilet.
No.
It was a really bad toilet.
It had no flushing power.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have to flush 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, for anything.
Just if you just went pee in it. And so I remember first of all, that toilet is notorious for getting clogged up.
Yeah.
And so I remember there was multiple times where I'd gone to the bathroom and it just started rising.
Yeah.
And the panic.
Yeah.
that sets in. You're oh shit. Oh no.
Because the state of a toilet is either it's working fine or this is a horrible disaster. There's no in between with the toilet.
Because it just takes all that water that's in the tank and just dumps it right in the bowl.
Yeah. I remember one time up in that bathroom, it was when I had started shaving, my face or whatever,
no.
and I clogged up the sink, and it wouldn't drain. And I was well, this is really annoying. And I was well, my understanding is that when you plunge something when it's clogged, and it'll release it. And so I didn't understand or know that the pipes from the sink and the pipes from the toilet are not the same.
It's not the same kind of pipe.
Yeah, and they're they go different places. And so I grabbed the plunger and I stuck it in the sink. I started plunging away, and plunging. And nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'll just, whatever, who cares? And a little bit later, Mom come home, and she shouted from the bottom of the stairs. She was like, Gary, get your ass down here now. And I was like, at that time in my life, I was like, oh, that could be anything. I was like, I have no idea what that could be about. So I went downstairs, and she was like, why is there shit all over my bathroom?
Hey, what are you talking about?
I was like, what are you talking about, Mom? Yeah. She was like, go in the fucking bathroom. And I went in her bathroom, and there was shit fucking everywhere. Somehow, me plunging the toilet in the sink, forced all the sewage up through the toilet in her bathroom, just directly downstairs below. I mean, it had come out of the sink down there. It had come out of the bathtub down there. It was fucking everywhere.
She's just like, how? How?
I was like, and I was the only person home when she got home. So of course, she knew it was me. And so I was like, look, okay, I did this.
I don't know how.
But unknowingly. I didn't know that plunging the sink upstairs would make this happen. How could I have known that? But it didn't matter. I had to clean all of it. We just do so much dumb fucking shit as kids. It's amazing any of us are still alive. I remember one time, me and Justin were up in Aaron's room, and we were just kind of like playing with his stuff or whatever.
No.
And we had my paintball gun, but we didn't have any paintballs. So we got the bright idea to put light bright pegs in it, and we were shooting them at each other. But it's
at 500 psi.
Well, it's a gust of CO2, and it's this little light bright peg that rattles around inside the barrel. So when it comes out the end of the barrel, it goes anywhere. Yeah. And me and Justin are standing like from me to you, shooting at each other with this thing, and we can't hit each other. And we're like, well, let's go try to shoot Aaron with it. So we have no frame of reference of how bad it hurts to get shot with a light bright peg at 500 feet per second. And so we get to the top of the stairs. And from the top of the stairs through the railing, you could see into the computer room where Aaron was sitting playing Halo on the Xbox. Yeah. And Justin aimed, and he shot. And it was this fucking straight, perfect shot. I'll never forget this orange light bright peg. We hit Aaron straight in the neck. He immediately throws the controller down. He immediately throws the controller down. He slaps his neck, and he just... And so Justin does what he does best. He runs away. He runs downstairs and he runs out the front door and just bolts to his house.
I'm not dealing with this.
And he just leaves me with the fucking smoking gun. And I'm like trying to tell Mom. I was like,
I swear to God, it wasn't me.
I swear to God, it was. First of all, it wasn't me. And we had no idea that the one time the person who wasn't involved with this was the victim, that it was actually going to work.
Oh, God.
Aaron was young, too. I mean, he was like, I don't know, 9 or 10. He was little.
Yeah.
He's so dumb.
I remember we had that same, was it that purple paintball gun?
I think it was blue. Wasn't it blue?
Either way, I remember we like cranked it up to like, it was like maximum PSI.
Yeah, we turned the velocity all the way up. Yeah.
And I remember we were like trying to shoot each other with it, and it was like raining outside. And I told you, I said, hey, I'm going to put the mask on. You go down there. I'm going to stand outside shirtless, and you shoot me.
Yeah.
And we had that thing cranked up all the way.
Yeah.
And I remember you were standing down in the yard, and that's still when Mom and Dad had the trees in the backyard there. And I remember I was like, there's no way he's going to hit me with this. Because you were like a good 100 feet away. You shot. And that thing came out of that barrel so fucking fast. And it hit me like essentially right where my heart is.
Yeah. It couldn't have been any more perfect of a shot.
And I remember it didn't break or anything.
It bounced.
It bounced off of me and left like there was like skin.
Yeah.
And then a ring, and then the rest of my chest.
Yeah.
And
where it just broke the skin immediately, and this perfect ring on your chest. It was bad.
I remember like years.
Remember how bad it bruised.
I remember like years later, like looking at that, I was like, do I have a fucking ringworm? What the fuck is going on there? And I was like, oh wait, that's that scar from the fucking paintball gun.
Yeah, you had that scar for a really long time. Another time with that paintball gun, we were out in the backyard with it. It was me and Aaron and Justin and Brandon and one of their friends, and we were just kind of dicking around in the backyard. And we didn't have any paintballs. It was just the gun, and we had the CO2 tank.
Right.
And so like we were just shooting it and making the popping noise or whatever. And we're all kind of standing there, and their little friend, I don't even remember his name, he was standing next to me, and I just pointed it right at his right at like the small of his back, and I pulled the trigger, and a paintball came out of it and shot him in the ass at point blank range, and he fell to his knees and grabbed his back. And he couldn't even scream. I remember he hit the ground. He went, and I was like, "What the fuck?" There was no paintball in the gun. And Justin was like, dude, I told you I put a paintball in there. Because, like, the little collar on the top, you could stick one paintball in there. And when I wasn't looking, Justin found one on the ground, and he stuck it in there. And to this day, he maintains that he told me he put it in there. And maybe he did, and I just didn't fucking hear him. But I really don't think he did tell me. And I did. I just fucking shot that kid right in the ass with no warning.
You gotta keep your head on a swivel when you come around here.
That could have been so bad. What if I stuck it to the back of his head, or like in between his fucking eyeballs?
It's like that time that I was down there on the dock, swinging that baseball bat at that fucking old orange, trying to knock it out in the lake. I remember Mom used to
committed homicide.
Yeah, Mom used to give piano lessons to a couple of different kids that we knew, and these two kids used to go to the same church that we went to. And I remember I was standing on the dock, and I had this like old like aluminum baseball bat, and somebody had like left an orange outside or something. And I remember going, "Hey, I'm gonna hit this orange out to the lake."
Yep.
Nobody come out onto the dock. And so I step up and I throw it up in the air and two hand and just swing as hard as I can and just let this, backswing come around. And I whiffed it and I missed the orange. But on my backswing,
there was a larger target.
Yeah, I felt something go pink like that. And I go, "Oh no." And immediately I didn't want to turn around because
you knew it was going to be bad.
Fuck. I was like, I bet that was Aaron. That was my initial thought. It's like, I bet that was Aaron because he would do something I told him not to do. Yeah. And then I turn around and it was of course it was the girl that came over to do the lessons, and she was wearing glasses. I broke the fuck out of those glasses, and she had a big ass fucking gash on her head, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I remember that. I'll never forget the sick hollow crack sound it made when it hit her in the head. It was bad.
It was not good.
It was bad. You hit her really hard. We just used to do so much dumb shit. Remember we used to fill pillowcases up with pine cones and hit each other with them.
I remember we had was it the sock 'em boppers, and we'd deflate them
so we'd still get a little contact.
Oh god. There was that, and then we used to take, after the 4th of July, we held all these bottle rockets laying around. So we'd go out in the front yard and light them and shoot them at one another.
Yeah. I remember one time we shot one of those things at a duck in the backyard. And the duck's just kind of sitting there. And because like me and Justin and Aaron had been shooting at, we were like 10 feet away from this duck, and they're going any which way or whatever. And
was those redheaded ducks?
No, it's like a regular white duck. But I grabbed the bottle rocket and I pointed it at the duck, and Justin's like, "You're not going to hit that duck." He's like, "We can't hit anything with these things." No. And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm just going to try." And it shot straight and hit the duck square in the ass, and it exploded, and all these feathers went everywhere, and the duck just took the fuck off. We lost it when we did that, dude. Like, stuff like that, like, I would never do that now.
No.
Like, as a kid, I didn't understand, like, oh, this is going to hurt the duck. I was like, this will be funny.
Oh, God.
I remember one time I brought a knife to school. Because I remember specifically, it was my 13th birthday. And one of my buddies had got me a knife. And I remember he handed it to me. He like took me to the side because I wasn't supposed to have it. And he was like, "Check it out, dude." He gave me this knife. It was just a little like regular pocket knife or whatever. And I was like, "This is the sickest fucking thing ever, dude." I'm stabbing shit in my room, going outside like throwing it at trees. But by the time like a day later, it was dull and like rusty.
The blade's all bent up.
Yeah. And I remember I took it to school, and like I was showing all my friends, and they're like, "Oh, dude, that's so sick." Yeah. Dude, if a teacher caught me with that, I would have been in so much fucking trouble. Like, thank God they didn't catch me. But I didn't understand, like...
Right. You thought it was fucking cool.
I just thought it was fucking cool. No. Like, I didn't bring it to, like, stab the bully to death, like kids these days.
Yeah, there was, like, so much, like, crazy shit that we did as kids that... I don't know how the fuck, like, we didn't
We used to throw your javelin at each other. Like, the pointy end.
The pointy end.
We also used to try to pole vault with it.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if one of us actually got up above that thing and came down on it?
You skewered yourself on it.
It was.
Well, I remember like the time that Justin fell back into the dam.
Oh, dude, that was crazy.
Into that damn thing that Mom had gotten
shadow
for Dad.
Box, yeah. Mom had gotten Dad this shadow box of all his Navy stuff, like his old uniform and like some pictures of him on the boat and everything. And it was sitting up in the computer room, like kind of leaning.
It wasn't safety glass.
No, it was plate glass.
Yeah.
And it was sitting up against this bookshelf or whatever. And Justin was sitting in like a little swivel chair in front of it. And I don't know what happened or something, but he fell out of the chair. He fell backwards and he crashed into the shadow box. And it's just all these gnarly, jagged pieces of glass.
I don't know how it didn't skewer him.
Yeah. I have no idea. But what it did do was scoop a little chunk of back meat out. Like, we were like, "Oh, dude, are you okay?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And like he stood up and he's just pouring blood out of his back. And I was like, "Oh no, dude, like lift your shirt up." And I lifted his shirt up and he literally, it was like somebody took a melon baller and like scooped a chunk of his back out. And I was like, "Oh my God, dude." I was like, "A chunk of your back is gone." And he's freaking out, And we get him home. He lives right down the street from us, and we got him home, and he's like crying, he's freaking out, and we get his mom, and she's like, "Let me take a look at it." She's got a cigarette in her mouth or whatever, and she like dabs it with a paper towel, and then she takes fucking Neosporin and fills the hole with it, just, and sticks a Band-Aid over it, like it's gonna turn back into flesh.
Oh God!
But Justin's still with us to this day, so obviously
he
it worked.
made it all right. So
yeah,
you never did find that chunk of back meat.
I don't know where that went.
I think Trixie probably.
I honestly think Trixie ate it.
I remember one time we had two dogs at the time. We had Molly, who was just like this mutt, and we had Trixie, who was like a teacup schnauzer. Like she wasn't even tiny big enough to be like a miniature schnauzer. And I remember Molly had puked on the floor, and we're like, "Ooh, Molly, gross." And then so we went over to our grandmother's house, and we were telling Mom and Dad about it, and we get back, and Mom goes, "What puke? I don't see any puke."
Yeah.
And then we look over, and Trixie's just standing there. We're like, "Ugh."
Yeah, Trixie ate it.
Ugh.
I remember we saw her do it one time. Molly threw up in the floor, and Trixie like ran out from under the coffee table like an automated robot. She bolted for it.
Like a damn pilot fish.
Yeah. She went straight for it. I was like, no. And we're like, oh, what the fuck?
I've never been more mad at a fucking dog than the time that mom and dad had got us, we had gotten Kong Long. We had gotten the Chinese food from there.
Yeah.
And we sat down to eat, and then, of course, mom pulled up with groceries. She's like, come help me with these groceries.
Yeah.
And then so we went out to help her with the groceries, and all the food is sitting on the coffee table. And I come back once, like, we help get the groceries in. And I come back, and Trixie's, like, standing, like, over, like, my fried rice.
Yeah.
Like, not moving. And, like totally still.
She's like, if I don't move, you can't see me.
And then so I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then she took off, and all she left me was fucking onions.
She ate everything but the onions.
I was like, you piece of shit.
Get that fucking dog. Trixie had an iron gut.
Yeah.
She really did, because she ate an entire steamer pack of crystals one time. She ate everything but the pickles. And that's like 24 crystals. She ate all of them.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, we put her in her crate in the living room just to keep an eye on her. We were like going to let her roam around with 24 crystals in her gut. And she kept farting. And, I mean, she's the size of like half the size of a football.
Yeah, she's like 5 pounds.
Yeah, if that.
And she weighed 10 pounds after she had all those crystals, but...
Just the waves of stench that were coming out of her crate was the most like repugnant fucking thing I've ever smelled. It was so bad. And she ate an entire tray of Christmas fudge one time. And you would think, if anything was going to kill a dog, it'd be chocolate. But no, Trixie ate like 30 pieces of Christmas fudge. It was totally fine.
Didn't she had like projectile vomited everywhere, and then...
She was like too stupid to know she was dead.
Yeah. I just remember, because I think at that point I think I was on deployment during that time when that happened. And I remember Allison was like, yeah, Trixie ate a whole thing of fudge. I was like, oh shit. Like, did mom and dad take her to the vet? She's like, nope, just put her in her crate. like
fucking,
she'll work it out.
Like the fucking dude from Rocky. If she dies, she dies.
It's so funny. Like the different ways, and like you see like the generations as they come through, like
the way they handle things.
Yeah, like Nanny and Pawpaw didn't give a fuck about any of those dogs.
No,
they give a fuck. Like all dogs, like up until like really Trixie, like all dogs, as far as I was concerned, was an outside dog.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to people's house and I was like, you have an inside dog?
You have a dog in your house?
Yeah, you have a dog in your house?
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking wild.
Like, don't they shit everywhere?
Yeah.
And like, well, now if you train them not to. Like, I thought dogs were supposed to be chained to trees. I thought that's what you did with them. Go get a dog and chain it to a tree. You go about your life.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's funny how times have changed.
Yeah. Molly was funny because she was not like a dog.
No.
Like, she didn't do dog things. Like, she didn't chase her tail. She didn't play with toys. She didn't stick her head out the window.
No.
But she didn't even really like to be petted.
She didn't bark.
She never barked. Yeah.
Yeah, she said woo.
Yeah. She just kind of existed where we were. And, like, I remember specifically, like, she would lay on the couch, but only if she had an entire cushion to herself.
Right. She didn't want you touching her.
Like, if you came over on her cushion, she would go and get up and go somewhere else. She was just so passive-aggressive. And it was funny going, because, like, that was my experience with dogs growing up. You know, it's my childhood dog. That's how she acted. We got Lexa and Lola, and they do dog shit all the time.
No.
Chase their tails. They play with toys. They stick their heads out the windows. Like, oh, dogs actually do this kind of thing. Molly was just a fucking weirdo.
Right. Well, it's like I went from, like, we had Molly for, Lord, she was...
Been for a long time.
Yeah, I think we got her when I was like in 4th grade or something like that. might have been earlier than that. Hell, I don't
remember
know.
I was in 3rd grade when we got her. So
Yeah,
you were probably 4th
I'd have
or 5th
been
grade.
4th or 5th grade.
Yeah.
So I remember we got her, and then like we had her for just a long time up until I was like in 10th grade, and then that's when they got Trixie.
Yeah.
And I remember just like the stark difference.
Yeah.
Between those two dogs. Yeah. I was like, oh, like dogs are wildly different.
Yeah.
That's like, cause this one has got like a bunch of weird shit going on, and this one's just a fucking dumbass.
Trixie went for 15 years and never learned a single trick.
No.
Didn't have the capacity for it.
No. That's what, like, we have a little dog now. I think it's just a little dog thing. I think little dogs have small brains, and I don't think they're that smart.
Yeah, it's a data storage issue.
Right, exactly. They're not working with the greatest hardware.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's sweet.
Yeah.
And like,
that's all he can be.
Yeah, but he's fucking dumb. Because he'll do something like, God, you're so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And like, it's a good thing you're sweet, because...
And then you got Ruthie, who's a wild animal.
Yeah, she's a feral animal.
Living in your house.
Like, that, as far as, like, dogs are concerned, like, she's a dog.
Yeah. She's just a cur.
Yeah.
She's a stray dog living in your house. I remember we were talking about on the topic of dogs throwing things up. I remember one time Molly ate an entire family-sized bag of Funyuns. Because we had left them. It was after you had moved out of the house. Your room kind of just became the room where we fucked around.
No.
Played video games or whatever, and we were sitting on the couch with this bag of Funyuns. And we left them in there. And when we came back, we went downstairs to help Mom do something. We brought our hangers or something like that. And we came back upstairs, and we walked into the room, and we were immediately hit with this smell.
Like, what is that?
Like, what is that? Like, what could that possibly be? It was, now we know that it was Funyuns and dog bile. But there was this pile, like, I don't know, about 8 inches in diameter and about 4 inches high. This is a pile of mulched up, chewed up Funyuns. It was this massive pile. And me and Aaron are looking at it like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what does that smell and what is that? And we got a little bit closer to it and we realized it was that whole bag of Funyuns that she ate. She barfed it back up all in this one spot. But, like, the thing is that there was a lot of bile with it, and it seeped into the carpet.
Oh, no.
And we had been gone long enough
that
it had wicked, and it was, like, spreading. So we just scooped up the Funyun puke, we threw it in the toilet, and we scooted the couch back a couple feet over the stain.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was interesting. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. So, as always, thank you so much for listening. We really hope you guys are still enjoying the podcast. If you're new to the podcast, make sure you're giving us a follow on Facebook. If you are new to the podcast, it's also worth noting that this is what the podcast is.
Right.
We talk about whatever comes to mind down
Right.
here. But yeah, if you want to be in the know about our Super Cringe Thursday conversations, make sure you follow us on Facebook and check on. Typically on a Thursday or Friday, we'll post a cringy video that we found online and then give a little rundown on the podcast. If you have any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about or any advice you'd like us to give you, make sure you reach out to us on Facebook, or you can email us at thickboypodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything you'd like to close with?
Nope. This was episode
75. Oh, fuck, we never brought the episode in.
Yep. So
Fuck.
this is episode 75.
Good catch.
We're 25 away from 100. We're talking about doing something special for episode 100. We think that everybody will like it, but we're still in the process of talking about what it is that we're going to do. But I think we have a good idea of.
There's going to be a lot of specifics we'll have to nail down, but we're kind of excited about it.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. Hopefully, if that works out well, maybe we can do it every once in a while. Be something fun that we can do. But yeah, just thank you again for the continued support. If you enjoy listening to the podcast, as always, make sure that you leave a like, a rating, a review on your preferred podcast platform. We're pretty much everywhere that podcasts can be found. Yep. If we're not, let us know, and we'll put it there.
We'll fix it.
But yeah, just thank you so much for the continued support.
Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.